We received another 2024 rookie mock draft. It's Superflex. It's a one-rounder. I feel like these guys did a good job on their selections, and I'm excited to cover it with you guys today. But what you guys need to do right now is click that subscribe button. Tap it with your finger on your phone, with your mouse on your computer, so you can stop missing these mock drafts, the content that we're going to have leading up to the NFL draft for your rookie drafts. We're also helping you set your lineups, find players off the waiver wire every single day, and we just deep dive and talk ball every day, 365 days a year. Hit that button, stop missing out. But we got a 12-team one-rounder here that we're going to cover right now. Remember, it's Superflex. That being said, the 101 is Caleb Williams, and he's going to be the 101 in a lot of Superflex mock drafts this year. A lot of Superflex drafts in general. It's being talked up. A lot of people talking down over him over his last 5 games or so because he hasn't been living up to par. But overall, tremendous career. Go watch the tape, or if you have to, watch the highlights. But you're going to see him make play after play, highlight after highlight. Has a strong arm, can throw off platform, very creative. 9.9 average depth of target on his career, 76% adjusted completion percentage, makes plays happen, a little bit mobile, especially when on the run in the pocket to extend the play, and he's going to be the top quarterback draft in this year's draft. Everybody's been looking at him as the 101 in Superflex drafts for quite some time. They're not budging really, unless it's this guy here at the 102, because we're getting some talk of Marvin Harrison as the 102 in Superflex. That is coming around the streets here in the fantasy football community. Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 102 in this mock draft, and he's had a damn good career at Ohio State. 67 receptions, 1,211 yards, 14 touchdowns. 14 touchdowns the year prior. And you know what? Every time Ohio State's playing, you're scrolling Twitter, you're going to catch a highlight from Marvin Harrison Jr. Just every week. He's a standout player, one of the best wide receiver prospects we've seen. And even at that, let's say he doesn't hit, just the smoke that's coming out from his draft profile, everyone being excited about him, just that market watch on him and that value of him coming out for those rookie drafts, you're going to be able to flip him for a lot if you don't like Marvin Harrison Jr. or if you got a bag coming your way, but you may not need to because he's a fabulous prospect. 15 100-yard games in his career. Only 2 seasons pretty much with Ohio State in 15 games. Look at it that way. Only 2 seasons, 15 games of 100 yards. His freshman year only had 11 catches for 139 yards. Those 100-yard games came during his final 2 years there, where he blew up. 3.44 yards per route ran. Contested catch machine. Tracks the ball well. Workhorse. This guy grinds in the offseason. Just works out constantly. We saw the clips of him running, catching balls on his own from the jugs machine and just improving on his speed, improving on his hands. And we saw him get better over time. Also, coming out of high school, one of the few wide receivers who are very nuanced at running routes, breaking off routes, selling routes, doing those tactics, and he built on that over time. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the Bijan Robinson of this year's class. Everybody wants him. They're talking him up quite a bit. I like him too. And then at the 103, with it being Superflex, they went with Drake May here. Career 8 out of 10.7, adjusted completion percentage of 75.4, and initially, as he was the starter after Cal left, he was dynamic, completing balls at a good rate, fitting the ball in the tight windows, just being a stud, being consistent, a good career. We're going to see him drafted in the first round. He's going to hold good value in Superflex. In a lot of drafts, you see him go at the 102 in Superflex. In this draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. went 102. Here went 103. But you're going to see him in this range behind Caleb Williams. Good quarterback prospect, decent size, good accuracy, slings it downfield. A prospect a lot of people are going to be interested in Superflex. And at the 104, we're looking at Malik Nabers, and he dominates on the field. You can't stop him. and he's a stud wide receiver prospect too. Marvin Harrison Jr. is overshadowing him a bit, but Nabers is up there. Stud wide receiver prospect. If I can't get Harrison and I still got a top pick, I'm loving that I'm getting Nabers. I'm loving it. 6.7 yards after the catch per reception, 3.81 yards per outran. Has been going off as of late. 1,500 yards this year. Just ball skills for days. Had a big play last week and really is having a strong career at LSU. He will definitely be a bona fide first-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm getting him in as many leagues as possible. Standout prospect with 13 100-yard games. Solid last year as well. Malik Nabers would be the top wide receiver in most years. At the 105, they drafted Jaden Daniels. He's been hot as of late too. He's got a lot of experience at the college game, but very productive this year with 3,812 yards, 40 touchdowns, in it for the Heisman, looking good, accurate deep ball, making plays happen. This guy has really turned it up and dialed it up because he's been solid. Him and Nabers has been a solid combination. 10.3 ADOT, 79.6 adjusted completion rate. Solid. His stock's been going through the roof. Will be a first-round pick. I see him going in the first round pretty easy. I think his stock is going to increase between now and draft season and to the NFL draft and past that. And for Superflex, this is a quarterback I want. I like that he was able to turn it up this season. I like that he has a lot of experience. I like seeing that he's gotten better. Last year, he looked good at LSU, and then he improved upon that. He was a top-tier prospect coming out of high school. We've been watching him at Arizona State. Then we saw the transfer, and you know what? Things have been looking good, and now it's time for him to get selected in the first round. Now at the 106, we're going to be looking at Brock Bowers. And I love it that they selected him here because at the tight end spot, if he hits, if he lives up to that size-adjusted athleticism, he is going to wreak havoc in Dynasty. Right now, the tight end position's looking pretty good. We got some young guys hitting this year, a lot of rookies. We might get another one here. He's going to hold a lot of value once he's selected too, especially in Dynasty ADP because people have been waiting for him to come out for the draft since he was a freshman at Georgia because he's been looking good. A lot of plays where he's getting that yak and just exploding past the defense. A lot of plays where he's getting downfield, making that grab in the end zone. We're seeing this time after time throughout his career. He was banged up a little bit this year, but looking good. Good hands, good speed, good size-adjusted athleticism, good production. 10 100-yard games on his career. Would have had more if this year went according to plan. 8.6 yards after the catch per reception. A solid tight end. First-round prospect. He's not sliding out of the first round. This is a tight end we've been waiting for quite a while. And at the 107, we're looking at Odunze. He's one of my favorite wide receivers. I love that they drafted him around this spot. I might take him over Bowers. I'm not taking him over Nabers or Harrison Jr., but he is my wide receiver 3 right now. Not super strong on that, not concrete. I want to go a little bit deeper on the class. But I love Odunze. I love him. One of my favorite wide receivers in this class. I love the size, adjusted athleticism. I love the production. Look at him over the last 2 seasons. 1,300 yards this year and 13 touchdowns. 1,100 yards last season. 5.3 yards after the catch per reception. But he's getting downfield, making grabs. 3.09 yards per route ran. This guy has hands. This guy's a playmaker. I love the size-adjusted athleticism because that allows him to separate and get downfield. I think he's going to be an easy first-round prospect. A wide receiver you need to pay attention to. Keon Coleman was selected at the 108. They drafted him there. And solid season this year. Some ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs in his career as he transferred away from Michigan State. Still had some production there in 2022 with 798 yards and 7 touchdowns. But this guy is a contested catch machine. Playmaker, sticky hands, good reach. I like him less than Odunze. I like him less than some of the other guys here. He's a good wide receiver prospect. He is a threat to go in the first round of this year's draft. Looking at the production profile, there's a chance he could slip, but I want to pay attention to him over the draft season. Watch the noise that goes around him. See him during the combine and pro day. But he's a wide receiver who's been jumping up boards all season long. A lot of people like this guy. He is a playmaker, strong hands, good at the catch point, and could be nasty in the right offense for Dynasty. And now at the 109, we're looking at Emeka Egbuka, a down season this year. We have some poor quarterback play at Ohio State, really impacting his stock. Wouldn't be surprised if he stayed at Ohio State. That might be the right move for him, considering he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, high-end prospect, and looks good on the field. Was very good last year. Over 3 yards per route ran during his first 2 years at Ohio State, but this year just 1.97. That could increase in the bowl game, but we have to pay attention to what he's doing on the field. Very good route runner, decent after the catch, even though the 6.5 yards after the catch per reception doesn't show that. Solid wide receiver. I had him a lot higher going into the season. I think I like him better than Keon Coleman. I think I do. I think he's more cerebral. I think he can really develop into the NFL game. Maybe another season at Ohio State might be better for him. But again, that quarterback play there's sus. So I would not be surprised if he just goes out for the draft, especially since he's graded as a first-round pick by a lot of sites and a lot of people, and I can see that happening. But I like Emeka Egbuka. I think he's a great prospect. Also like him at cost in this draft. I think if I catch him at the 109, I'm going to love getting him. Now at the 110, we got Troy Franklin, another wide receiver I like. I love this wide receiver class, and I'm going to be drafting a lot of wide receivers this year, and I'm going to be talking about these wide receivers a lot, and he was very productive this year. 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6.8 yards after the catch per reception, 3.55 yards per route ran. He's got some length. He can get behind the defense, make those big plays. Fun wide receiver to watch. I think he's underrated right now. I think a lot of people were talking him up going into the season, but now we're towards the tail end of the season, and I'm not hearing many people talk him up a good bit. I think he's a wide receiver that could really surprise us at the NFL level. I think his draft capital could surprise us as well. I think this is a very good wide receiver class. I like this class a lot better than last year's class. I like that he's got a little bit of height to his game. I think that's something that some NFL teams are going to want, considering that we had a class last year with a lot of smaller wide receivers. We got a lot of different wide receivers in this year's class. We got a little bit of something for everybody. Troy Franklin, I like his game. I like how he gets downfield and reels in those catches. Fun player to watch. Go check out his clips. At the 111, Bo Nix, certified first rounder. There's no way he falls out of the first rounder unless he has a really bad draft season, really bad pro day combine. The tape's been looking good. You really have to ignore the start of his career at Auburn and just look at what he's been doing at Oregon. He stepped up his accuracy. He's been able to throw it between tight windows. Had a lot of big moments over these last few years. And again, we're just watching the draft capital with these quarterbacks. There's some other quarterbacks that I like too. I like Michael Penix. I like a few other quarterbacks in this year's draft. This is a stacked quarterback class. And with Bo Nix going here at the 111, I feel like in a lot of drafts, you might catch another quarterback going in this range as well, because I think this class is going to get drafted. I think we're going to get a lot of quarterbacks in the first round, and you're going to want to pull the trigger on a lot of these quarterbacks in Superflex because they hold their value, and because if they do hit, they're really going to turn around your team. And again, going with Bo Nix here at 111, considering he's a quarterback, considering the odds are very high that he goes in the first round, I can't go against that. I think that's actually a good value considering what we know right now. And then at 112 to finish up the draft, TreVeyon Henderson, and he's explosive. He's really finishing his career strong here at Ohio State. A lot of injuries on his career, really impacting his portfolio. But when he's on, he's on. This is not a very good running back class. I like to pound wide receivers. And if I'm drafting here, if I get a running back who's drafted second and third round, one of the top guys, I'm cool with that. But really, I'm looking at wide receivers. There's a lot of other wide receivers still on the board that I'd look at. I imagine another quarterback's going to go off the board in Superflex, considering the running back position this year's a little bit dank and the quarterback position's a little bit hot. I could definitely see that. I don't see the quarterback position falling too far off, considering Will Levis was going in the first round of Superflex drafts. I can definitely see another quarterback, or maybe even two, getting selected in the first round Superflex drafts this year. And then we got to make it rain on the wide receivers. We have to do so. But TreVeyon Henderson, if you're looking for a running back to get good size, adjusted athleticism, good usage in the passing game, can really turn that on. Again, his sample size is a little bit wonky in production due to the injuries, but when he's on, he's on. He's explosive when he gets the ball in the open field. He can house it. He's an upside guy. He could give you a little bit more. We really need to see him play a full season without getting injured. We haven't had that since his freshman season, but his first game at Ohio State, remember that huge catch and run against Minnesota? That's what we're looking at here with TreVeyon Henderson, a guy that could house it on any given play. And I think these guys did a very good job with this draft. I think they made a lot of good selections. I think there are some things that I would change a little bit. But again, it's a mock draft. You're making your picks and you're taking your guy. And I think I'm going to evolve too as we get deeper into draft season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.